G'day, welcome back to Weekly Endeavours for the 14th of July onwards. I'm Jackson. As always, there'll be timestamps in the description for just fast forwarding to one of these options if you want to hear one specifically. It's 250 seal set. I think obviously the best one is going to be login rewards. I think there's only going to be a very specific circumstance where you don't want to do this, and that's going to be if you can't be on for more than 3 days at a time. And in that case, you might do guild dailies or enemies to Scribed Skills. So I know how, I assume most people know how this one works, right? You just bring up the announcements here, bring up the daily reward is here, and if it says claim, you just click it, and yeah, you'll get 1 out of 4, and you just do that 4 days. You can do 4 days in a row, you can do 4 different days, it's entirely up to you. And for console, it's very similar. You just press menu or start or whatever the right menu button is on the controller. You go to announcements, use the directional buttons to go down, and yeah, you just claim the same way you do it there. Alright, so now onto the ones that I would probably need to explain. So we've got Scribe Skills and Daily Quests. Now personally, I think you will likely do this one quicker, but if you don't have scribing like leveled quite far, like if you haven't done the quest line, then it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass because you need some AoE skills, because otherwise just using single target skills to kill one enemy at a time with Scribe Skills is just going to be such a fucking chore. Like, it's going to take you hours. So yeah, it just depends. If you've got Scribing Skills, this one's probably okay, but I don't think there's anything wrong with Guild Daily Quests, but you need to understand that there's only specific quests that work for this. There's only like 5 or 6 maybe, maybe one that I'm not sure about. So I'll go through this one first, Guild Daily Quests. So one thing you need to understand is pledges don't work. I've just tested it today. They still don't work. It's stupid. I think they should, because that is like the Undaunted Delve works, but the pledges don't. It's fucking backwards. So yeah, let's go through each of the options. I'll go through the ones I think that are the best. I'll start with base game as well, and then to the ones that I personally would just avoid, because you can do these on every character. Like, you can do 1 a day per character. So even if you've only got 1 day to do this, if you've got a couple of characters, you can do a couple of the better ones on each. It just depends. Alright, so the 3 base game options. You've got Undaunted Delves, you've got the daily public dungeon Mages Guild quest, and then you've also got the daily single dominant quest. These are a bit random. They'll give you one of like a range of different areas to choose. I definitely think the public dungeon Mages Guild one's the best, because with the other ones, it's kind of dependent on what's going on. The Domin one isn't too bad, but sometimes that can be a pain in the ass. So with this one, you're given a random public dungeon from all the base game zones. I think aside from Cold Harbor, even if Cold Harbor was an option, like there's an easy way to get past the whole quest issue with that. So here's an example here. We've got the Bonus Stamp Ruins one. So if you've got the way shown here, it's very easy. If not, there is a house here, Hammer Death Bungalow. Through home tours, you could just go to H, look up Hammer Death Bungalow, travel to this house, just go out the front door, you'll rock up in Stormhaven. Even if you haven't been here before, you'll be able to do this. And just go around here, easy access to Bonus Stamp Ruin. That's basically going to be the way that these ones work. Just find a house as close as possible if you don't have any wayshrines nearby, and just use that method, get the wayshrine, and then from that point onwards, you'll have an easier time. And then once you get inside, as you saw there, there's just like there's a chest at the back here, and you just have to go loot the chest. The best thing about this one, and the reason I like it more than the Undaunted Delve, is you don't have to kill any bosses. That's a good thing, because normally the bosses, if another player kills them, you have to wait for them to respawn. Sometimes that could take a couple of minutes. You're just wasting less time fucking around with that. You just get a chest, you loot the chest. No matter what's going on with other players, you can just loot it straight away and just be done with it. Also, I like using Deshan for these, because this house here, Flaming Nyx, when you're in the public dungeon, you just grab the chest. You can either use this, I suppose you could also use other houses the same. Like, you've got Mara's Kiss, which is right next to the wayshrine here, but this one just takes you straight to Deshan, because this is where you can find all 3 of these base game daily quests. You can find them in other places. I just prefer this, because of all the houses that you can get, this is the cheapest, and yeah, it's just pretty convenient. Because with Elden Root, you can't run inside And so because you can't mount, it's just slower running around. I just prefer using my mount for running around. And yeah, Stormhaven's just a bit all over the place as well, because yeah, all the places are all over the place. You know, the Undaunted areas here, the Major Guilds here, and the house here is way more expensive. So yeah, it's just a convenience thing. Yeah, the public dungeon enemies, there's a lot of them, but they're pretty weak as long as you can fight decently. If you can handle like a Dolmen or something, you can probably handle the public dungeons. Just have a lot of AoE, or use a build that's fast or can go invisible. So Nightblade or a Stage 4 Vampirism build, because Stage 4 Vampires, you can get Undeath. Oh, sorry, not Undeath. Unnatural movement, and this allows you to go invisible when you sprint. It's really good. I have a build that's designed with this, but getting Vampire to 10 takes a while. So in that case, maybe just subclass into Shadow, get Cloak, and that way you can just use that to just ignore enemies as you go through. It just makes it a lot quicker. Next one's pretty similar. Instead of the Mages Guild, you go to the Fighters Guild. You talk to Cardia Gallus here, and she'll give you a challenge to go, well, I guess just a quest, to take down one of the 3 Domins in a zone. For example, right now I've got the Stormhaven one, so it doesn't matter which Domin you do, they all count, but there's only ever one Domin up at a time. If you have the Waystshines, again, it's pretty good, but some Domins are a pain in the ass. Like if this one's active at this time, you have to go all the way out here and just fucking travel over the water. It's just a pain in the ass. Whereas if you get one like Alligator Desert, if you got the Waystshines here, it's so easy. So this one's a little bit more unreliable, but yeah, this one's not too bad either. And I'm pretty sure... Can you share these? No, I don't think you can. Apparently you can share the heists and the Black Sacraments though. So yeah, maybe check. If you've got a friend, just maybe check if you can share them. Because if you can do different Mages Guild ones, that'd be great. It should be shareable though. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, Domins are straightforward. Just kill a couple of enemies. Just make sure you deactivate the pinions. But most instances, there's probably going to be someone trying to do the same thing. The one I tend to avoid is the Undaunted Delve. And like I said, the reason is, whichever Delve it is, you have to kill the boss, and if you get the same Delve that somebody else is trying to do, odds are, with this weekly, it's probably going to be the case. You have to kill, wait for the boss to respawn. Sometimes that can take ages. It's just inconvenient, sorry. So yeah, I just try to avoid this one. There's also, fetch quests as well, and some of these you also compete with other players. And I just don't like this one. I fucking hate that this is the option, but pledges aren't. Pledges are actually, I think, easier on your own. Or you can sometimes do them quicker, but it depends. Yeah, I just try to avoid this one myself. So I'll just run an example for you. I fucking sit on that chair every time. So just tell me blah blah blah, get the quest. So it's the bonus set ruins at Stormhaven. So naturally you can just go to the Waystshine, travel to the Waystshine in Stormhaven, and just do that. If you don't have that Waystshine, then I'll show you what to do. So we'll go home tours like we were before. We'll go Hammer Death Bungalow, and we'll just travel there. Okay, so we just leave the home, and as you can see, it takes us to Stormhaven. Still a little bit of a trek to get there from here, but it sure beats going the other ways usually. You can use the boatswain, but it just saves having to even travel to the boatswain to do this. Any skeletons? No? Yeah. Right. Okay, so here's the chest. Just loot it, and then that's it. You just return. And in this case, I've got Flaming Niche Deluxe Garret, so just go travel outside, and it just saves having to go all the way out. And as you can see here, we just rock up. Just on the east side of Mournhold. So now we just go back to the Mages Guild. Easy travel from here. There we go, and then talk to Alva Baron. That's one daily quest done. So you just do that a bunch of times, basically. Obviously, it doesn't solve the issue of if you're just here for one day. But yeah, I assume that's a very rare circumstance. I'll show the other option that I would choose. It's not as straightforward to get to. You have to do some stuff first. So if you haven't done it already, this option probably won't be good, because it takes hours to get through the prerequisites. But the actual quest itself isn't too bad. And to choose is heists, because with heists, there's really no way to fuck this up. You can completely make a dog's breakfast of it, and you can still complete the quest very easily. So with heists, firstly, you need to make sure you complete half of the main quest in his vein. So you need to get to the long game, then you unlock the quest which unlocks heists. It takes a few hours on average to get through all the stuff. So if you haven't done anything, you're probably best off doing the scribing one, or I don't know at that point, to be honest. If you've only got one day to play, maybe just do Major's Guild on a bunch of different characters. So yeah, and the same thing can be said about Black Sacraments. It's almost exactly the same, except you need to go. You get to the quest A Lesson in Silence in the Gold Coast quest line, and then you unlock Black Sacraments. They're very similar to Heist in how they work. There's an instance area, you got like a challenge, and you got some secondary objectives. But Black Sacraments, it's way more annoying doing the secondary objectives, and if you get spotted, you get a bounty instead of getting less time with Heist. So personally, I think Heists are better just because you don't get a bounty, but you know they're both about the same. You can probably do a Black Sacrament a little bit quicker, naturally, but it's a lot easier to fuck it up. So Heist board here, take the listing, talk to Farindar, and in we go. The objective is basically just to steal a bunch of things quickly and then leave before the timer runs out. But if the timer runs out, all that happens is you just fail the secondary objective, that's all. Okay, I'll just feed to get my stage 4 fan prism. Yeah, so the issue is, even if nobody hears that you just murdered someone, you still lose time. So if you kill anyone at all, you lose time. So it's pretty finicky. Oh wow, I didn't take any damage there, that's weird. Okay, so that's where the main one is. They'll come up on the map as quest icons. So these are the main pains in the arse that you're going to deal with. Even if you're in Cloak or Invisible through Vampirism, these fuckers will still see you if you enter that blue circle. It's like the ones from the Imperial City. Alright, so these are the caches you got to grab. If you have the Legerdemain passive Locksmith, it's really helpful for this because you can force the locks on them instead of having to go through all the lockpicking stuff. Alright, so that's what happens if you enter the blue circle. You get taken out of invisibility. And it's a pain in the ass because it means the enemies can see you very quickly. Let's check in here. I don't think there's anything in here. Now, everybody else, if you got Cloak, it works just fine on them. So it's just the dudes with the blue circles that you got to worry about with the invisibility stuff. Most of the time you can avoid them though. Okay, so here's another one. So yeah, you can strike yourself a bit of luck doing these, as long as you just are in the right place at the right time as far as the blue circle guys go. I find it a lot harder to do the objectives correctly in the Black Sacrament ones. Be aware with the Black Sacrament, one of the secondary objectives is to leave before you get... White trap. Before you... like, you get a timer at the end after you kill the main target. So do all the other secondary objectives before you kill the main target, because otherwise you just... you'll have the timer start before you even fucking do any of the secondary objectives. Okay, so where's the treasure? It's up. Okay, it's upstairs. I don't even know how you'd get through there without getting spotted. I'm gonna use this, otherwise I'll run out of mag. That's okay. Alright, still got heaps of time. Okay, so 4 minutes. Don't get spotted. Through this way. I'll try and get the secondary objectives. It might be best to kill one of these guys, but we'll see. Ooh, nice. I might have to kill this guy. Depends on how much time I've got. Oh, maybe not. We'll see. You know what? It's 30 seconds to get spotted, or it's like a minute. Oh, I might die here. Oh, that was close. Yeah, these things do a lot of damage. You've got to be a little bit careful. How much time have I got? 2 minutes. Still 2 minutes? Okay, it should be fun. Just cloak now and far enough away. And we're good. And it's going to be like, wow, well done. Even though I basically just fucking cheese through it. That's it. So, get that, you get a purple reward. Some of the Thieves Guild stuff, like very... Oh my god, I could fucking clear this shit, Jesus. So, some of this stuff can be good, but Thieves Guild motifs, they don't sell for much. You get a lead, and you get some of this stuff. I'm pretty sure... There's like a build in PvP where Savara's scales like heavy armor is like really good. But I'm not sure. Baraha's Curse is pretty old. Like, they're both very old sets and very outdated. Baraha's Curse used to be fucking amazing, but nowadays I'm pretty sure it's not that great. Yeah, Savara's Scales also not great, but I've heard there's like PvP, like really niche, powerful builds you can use. And very, very, like, specific circumstances these sells for a lot, but most of the time you get fuck all for it, so... Yeah. Alright, so that's 2 daily quests done, and the Black Sacraments are basically the same. Instead of stealing stuff, you kill stuff. And then, yeah, so I think those are all the daily quests that you've got available for Guild. Just wish fucking pledges for a thing. Alright, let's move on. Okay, so last of the 3 options, defeating enemies with Scribed Skills. This one... The most important thing to understand is the kills themselves you must get the final hit with a Scribe skill, otherwise it doesn't work. So that means there's a few things that can get in the way. If you use things like normal weapon skills or class skills, it can get in the way of this. So my advice is just do your best to get every possible Scribe skill that you can. Stack a bunch of the lingering torment effects on it, so you can apply like basically their damage over time effects, and then just have like a single spam ball as well. And there's a couple of good skills for this, but basically you want to stack AoE stuff. And the problem with that is most of the AoE stuff has some sort of prerequisites. There's a main quest, like the last main quest for the Scribing skill line, that gives you Soul Burst, which is kind of going to be the main skill I think a lot of people will use. Depends on a couple of other things though. So these are probably all the skills I would personally use, alongside like Elemental... whatever it is, the Destruction Staff one. So let's go through them. In Scribing here, you'll see all the different grimoires. So these here are the weapon ones. You have to be level 25 in that weapon skill line to have access to these. They all cost 50 grand, 50,000 gold, so it's quite an investment too. These ones here don't cost anything. These ones here do, these ones here do. So it's kind of annoying. That's why I say Soul Burst will be like the main one for most people. Now, something that will help if you're trying to figure out what to use, depending on the damage, the resource that the skill uses depends on the damage type. So if you use magic, any elemental ones, they actually cost magicka. If you use a physical or like a martial one, they cost stamina. So that can help you sort of build yourself to get the right scribing skills. Otherwise, you know, if you're using all magicka stuff on a stamina build, then you'll just run out of magicka in like 2 seconds and not be able to do shit. So just keep that in mind. It can help a lot. So my strategy for this is go a bunch of AoE skills, as I said before, with Lingering Torment, and then just have one with like a different effect. Alright, so I've loaded up my bar with a bunch of Scribe skills. So I've got a single target spam ball. It heals me. So one of the things about all these skills is there's fuck all healing. If you put healing on these things, it takes away the damage, so it's kind of counterintuitive. So try and pack something that gives you some healing on the side. Grab like something like Vigor, heal over time, but also grab something like Siphoning Strikes or Surge if you're going to play a Sorcerer, because that way you don't have to constantly heal yourself. You just got a bit of healing on the side. And I get a AoE here as well with damage over time, and it applies a debuff. Got my main AoE spam ball here with no damage over time debuff. It just gives me some other buff. Minor vulnerability as well, which is good. Minor vulnerability from this as well, just in case this doesn't hit anything. Because yeah, this is to a target. This is on you, so they might hit different people. And yeah, more damage over time. And yeah, more debuffs as well. So just stack a bunch of shit and don't use any proc sets. Try not to use any other sets as well. So I'm just going to chuck on this for a bit of extra crit chance as well. So now we go find some... Basically, just go find a big group of enemies to kill super quick. Skyreach Catacombs is best for this, because there's like over 200 enemies in here, and it's instanced. So instance is good because nobody else can come in here and kill the stuff that you want to kill. So we'll just go in and start killing shit. Easiest way to get here is via Earthtier Cavern through home tours again. Now you can do public dungeons, they have lots of enemies too, but other players will run around these, so you might get there and a lot of the stuff might be dead that you're trying to kill. So I just find instance places are good. You can do dungeons too, but the enemies are quite tough, and there's like the amount of enemies you can get in Skyreach is fucking ridiculous. So I just prefer using Skyreach. So travel to Craglorn. Now I'll show you the bridge strat. So just make sure you've got the breakfall passive here as much as you can, because you won't survive the fall otherwise. So what you do is you go to the longest edge, and then you point towards Skyreach on the compass, and you'll land in a bit of a elevated section. The other guy survived it, but you know, that's how I do it. Just be careful here, because you can take fall damage as you're coming down. If you're a stage 4 vampire, you will die. So, okay, here we go. So this is Skyreach. So the idea is clear this room. Well, this is how I like to do it anyway. I find the doors are a bit funky with enemies running through them, so they just kind of have a hard time navigating. So I clear this room, I come in here, grab all the enemies on the way here, go over here and clear all the enemies out with the line of sight over here. Come down here, do the same thing, line of sight them using some of the pillars here. You can go into this place and kill these guys with these guys here too, but again, I just find they navigate weirdly sometimes. Go over here, do this big pull here. This is where most of the enemies are going to come from. Come through here, do the same thing with this section. Or you can just, honestly, I just take all the enemies in this part and just take them over here and line of sight them. Alright, here we go. So this group here is all melee, so this section's pretty easy. Just grab these two groups. Start off with a Vigor, just to make sure I take less damage than I should. Alright, so I'm going to use this. As you can see, it travels in a straight line for ages. It's great. But the only problem is it's a channel. So enemies, if they stun you, they just fucking interrupt it. It's really annoying. So I'll hit him with that. I'll put on Contingency, Soul Burst, and then start hitting him with the dual wield one. Now the cool thing about the dual wield one is it does more damage to other enemies that it isn't initially hitting. So the initial hit does less damage, but the hit to everybody else does way more damage. So, and this one has like it has a big range. I don't know the actual range, it doesn't say, but it feels pretty big. Alright, so grab these bone mounds here. These guys here. Fucking really helpful. Also, bring a snare remover if you can, because that really helps. I'll just use a range attack on them. We'll go into this corner, line of sight them. So as they're all coming over, try not to get fucking interrupted. It's so annoying. That's why I don't like using channeled skills. Hit him with that. Contingency, Soul Burst, and then start hitting him with the dagger. And prepare to get fucking feared all the time. The fire mages do that all the time. Go nuts with AoEs, and every now and then just go back, line of sight them all so they stack up nicely. And just be careful of CC as you're throwing out the trample. Contingency, Soul Burst, and then spam ball. These ghosts are pretty tanky, so they take a lot. And then when there's one left, just use your single target spam ball. Alright, so we're at 50 now, getting there. Got that group. Got that bone mound. That bone mound. And so I just start using these pillars here to line of sight them all. Okay. Contingency, Burst, Vigor, spammable. Maybe a trample if you can get it in, but just be careful of stuns again. Contingency, Burst, spammable. Alright, so this room, I do it a little bit differently. So I won't pull these guys yet. What I'm going to do first is hit this. But just be ready, because once you hit this, it turns into a fucking shit show. So there's 4 groups of enemies here. What I like to do is activate this. It causes tons of enemies to spawn in the middle. There's also some big enemies that spawn here. There's also the bone mounds here and here as well. So what I do is I grab this. And now I go here, pull that group. Pull that group. The only thing about the dual wield one is it's pretty short range, but it's still range, so it's okay. Come over here, grab this group. Potion. Alright. Full burst. But yeah, it's a very target-rich environment at the moment. So, okay, CC'd, trample, if I can get it in. Contingency, roll dodge, soul burst, spam ball. Keep moving. Mobility in here is survivability, so just keep moving. Vigor. Contingency, soul burst, spam ball. You can use your other skills if you want, but just be wary that those can steal kills. So the less of those you can use, the better. I get a trample in, contingency, soul burst, spam ball. There's not many enemies, but just trample them. Contingency, soul burst, good. So that appears to be everything. Yep, cool. And as you can see, we're getting pretty close to done. But now for the rest, just repeat that. The only thing I don't do is fight these guys, because they're all super tanky and... I mean, these guys aren't too bad, but this guy here is annoying. Not worth the time, I think. Grab that group. There's a couple of bone mounds through here that you want to grab too on the way. This one. Give him a quick trample on the way, because like you can see just how far that thing travels. That's why I like using it. I basically start the fight with it. It's because it travels so far. Okay. Bigger, trample. Let's see if I can get away with it. Yeah, nice. Look at all the fucking damage though. How many enemies it hits. It's so good. Okay, got feared that time, unfortunate. Okay, taking aim. Try to avoid those because they fucking hurt. That's an add-on showing that information. It's either codes, combat alerts, or raid notifier. Those two are add-ons I use. Just be... It's a bit of a weird skill because it doesn't... Depending on where your character is facing at the time of activating it is where it goes. You can't change its direction halfway through. But yeah, no big deal because it's just so good. And we'll just finish it off. We've pretty much got all the kills we need, so... One last trample. And we're done. Oh wow, we need 6 more kills. My bad. Let's see if I can find something to kill. Did I miss a bone mound, maybe? I did. There we go. These guys here, you can kind of use a single target one if you want. And we're done. And yeah, even if you don't get all the kills, you'll probably get pretty close to it, and at that point you can just go outside and just kill a few more and get it done that way. So yeah, it probably will take you like 10 to 20 minutes, just depending on how quick you can get through here. Yeah, that's the only real way I would do this one. Otherwise, it takes ages. Because yeah, there's not many skills, and not many of them are like really convenient to use because fucking cast times and shit. So some enemies, especially when you're doing Skyreach, they'll slow you down, and just it gets fucking annoying dealing with that shit. So I'll give an example. I'll wait for them to slow me again. Come on. Oh, there we go, yeah. So, I'll use Phantasmal Escape, get rid of it, and it just lets you move fast. That's all it does, and it just gives you immunity to that stuff for a couple of seconds too, so it just allows you to keep running fast through places like Skyreach without having to deal with that shit. So I'll go through some of the good ones. So Nightblades, again, just my favourite class is because of this shit. Phantasmal Escape, oh shit, hello. Alright, so I'll just go through a couple of sources of Snare Remover. Phantasmal Escape, Morph of Blur for Nightblades. Very quick to get this one, because the first skill only takes a little bit of XP to be able to morph it. And yeah, gives you Snare Immunity at max level of 6 seconds, that's a lot. One of the most common ones, though, that people use is Race Against Time. It's through the Stitching skill line. Only gives you a, the 4 seconds comes from the 4th morph, though, and it can take a little while to get that, so... yeah, really good one though. Gives you Major Expedition too, so it makes you faster, gives you Snare Immunity, and gives you Minor Force too, which is a good damage buff. Some of the other ones though, two-handed. The Forward Momentum morph of Rally, Momentum, gives you Snare Immunity. I prefer using other methods though, because Rally is a great heal regardless. Medium Armor, the Shuffle morph of Evasion also gives you Snare Immunity, and it gives you Snare Immunity up to 7 seconds if you've got 7 pieces of medium, which honestly is not a terrible idea anyway. What are some other ones? Yeah, those are the only 4. Sorry. So yeah, other classes don't have, but you can remove them with negative effect removers too, I think, which some other classes have. Necromancers, Templars, Wardens all have that. There's also Pariah's Resolve, which comes from Volendrung, so I'm not going to count that. Okay, so I think that's enough info. Any questions, just give me a buzz, as always. But yeah, it's pretty easy weekly, this one. I assume most people are just going to do the daily login anyway. Alright, thanks everyone. See you next time. Take care for now.